ancestral blood. My narcissistic prankster sidekick, who shows up in abundance for a medically concerning amount of months on end for many years, then one day vanishes completely, just when I need her. Hormones are a supervillain of sorts, and it is here they begin to take hold. Age 14, walking home from school, where they're telling me to visit the butcher's. In front of the butcher's is a sports shop, Joggers, and within that shop is a person named Tim. Tim is a grown man with grey specks in his hair and the hollow eyes and slack cheekbones of a weed smoker / hopeless romantic. He is 30 years old, and I know this because my good friend's mum plays tennis with his girlfriend on Thursday nights. On that day of the week, I linger outside a little longer, just in case I can detect a frisson of excitement from him about a night decompressing at home alone and away from her. At this point you might hastily, if understandably, assume I'm some form of voyeur, but that's a label that doesn't sit right with me. My own personal experience of voyeurs are a puce-faced man with the nickname Dave the Dagger, rustling in the bushes of an alleyway next to my primary school, or a leathery middle-aged landlord who has installed pinhole cameras into the showerheads of the student accommodation. Those to me are voyeurs, not a lachrymose tween sucking the chlorine water from her wet ponytail after a swimming lesson, whose only true form of excitement comes from watching an adult male unload Quicksilver t-shirts from a cardboard box. But back to the butcher's. Outside the shop front and cloaked in the sad, dull stench of dead animal flesh, I am still, silent, and nowhere near initiating contact with Tim. In fact, I am repulsed by the prospect of an actual conversation with him. I feel I don't yet qualify as a human of any intellectual value, and my patter revolves around subjects such as rare cat breeds, mood rings, and trinkets covered in astrological symbols. No, I'm chasing pure cinematic sensation, and I find that I can absorb and maintain euphoric levels of titillation through the sight of Tim's hair alone, something that I relive over and over again as I sit beneath a table in my bedroom and listen to Sheryl Crow singing songs about alleged love rat Eric Clapton on my Discman. It gives me great pleasure to visit a future world in which I ascend from my present state, a 63-year-old spiritualist who runs a weekend build-your-own dreamcatcher workshop, trapped inside the body of a child, and become the mysterious seductress I know I truly am. If I had known back then that something would enter my world and amplify my inherent lurk mode compulsion to quite such a seismic degree, I would have cultivated an occupation for a more wholesome hobby instead, like BMXing, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or fracking. But instead the internet arrived and became the ultimate facilitator of escapism and warped intimacy in the form of truly one-sided relationships. Naturally, my preoccupations would expand to include those with a public profile too, people on TV, in films, musicians, and, in later years, influencers. I'd come to discover this had a name: parasocial relationships, the dynamic where a normal person feeling strongly towards a famous person, or in some severe cases a cartoon character. The term originated in 1956 to refer to the relationship between viewers and television personalities, and has become more widespread over the past decade due to fanatical stan culture and the superficial notion that we have 24-hour access to the lives of public figures via social media and reality shows. There's a troubling delusion that comes with parasocial relationships, a sense that as fans or casual followers, we are entitled to know everything, or that we already do via rigorous detail gathering and FBI levels of digital sleuthing. Some devolve into trolls to defend their beloved celebrity icons at any cost, while others are so dedicated to uncovering the truth, to making the object of their lust their entire identity, that they spend their spare time making memes and conspiracy videos about potential interband love affairs and rifts. Mine, however, is a private, meaningful, near-spiritual kind of reverence that I return to again and again, particularly in times of need. It can be something in the way the celebrity sings or speaks, or the way their fringe falls or top lip curls, that then leads me to believe that we are soulmates. A tiny fragment of my internal world feels acknowledged by whatever art they're making, and in seeing myself reflected back in a big room or on a stage, I'm lifted from the existential loneliness that generic human existence brings. Other times, admittedly, they're just really hot and I want to bang them. There is, however, another subset of parasocial relationships that's less discussed when it comes to obsessing over people on the internet, ones that exist firmly on the raw and humiliating end of the spectrum. These fixations extend beyond the lives of the rich and famous to ex-lovers.